What you were saying about the 98% and how we just got kind of get knocked off of it, because again, you got your parents who they haven't, fulfilled their dreams, or they're not even really living a fulfilled life. Like that's very real, because they getting up and they going to this job every day and they got these kids to take care of, and life feels more like a burden than it does feel like fun and joyous and happy. And then you got the schools that are forcing kids to, all be the same pretty much, like not taking into account that everybody is an individual. Yeah, that's a fact. And when Jalen was in the third grade, I think, second grade, and they got to pass that third grade reading test, and he kept saying, he was like, I can do it, I be needing a little bit more time. Yeah. And I was like, okay, yeah, I get that. So I go to the school and I was like, well, what can we do, about him having a little bit more time to read? And they they said we'll do that. They you
got 4 minutes. I gotta jump out of here. You ain't got it. Repeat.
Right. And so,
knowing that you don't even read like that at home.
Yeah, nobody does.
Nobody does. You could be reading a book and you be like, you start daydreaming about something else. You're like, damn, I forgot that whole chapter. Let me go back. And
you gotta read it
again. But you want the kids to be perfect in the course of the third grade.
Yes, like good little soldiers. You know? So I ended up doing a IEP with the individualized education plan, right? Mm-hmm. And so when we went through the whole process where they give you like a kind of a psychotherapist and an occupational therapist is what they give you. And so we kind of going through this process with her, and it was like, okay, well, now that he got the IEP in place, they give him like 15 more minutes because they got an IEP, right? And so I was like, but everybody should have an IEP because everybody is an individual. You know what I'm saying? And so if y'all created this specific plan to help him reach some of his reading goals and math goals and all of this, everybody should have that, And
then what kids are we using to come up with the statistics that this should be the amount of time afforded to pass this read thing? Like, what original group of kids were they? Like, where did they come from? What did they
We need answers.
Yeah, we need answers. Like you said, we 98% as a kid creativity, and then all this stuff is telling us to like I watched the interview and Will Smith was talking. If y'all don't know by this point, Will Smith was like one of my idols and stuff. Till he slapped Chris Rock, I'm still kind of mad at him about that. But I used to watch a lot of his YouTube interviews and stuff, and he was talking about being realistic. And he was like, being realistic is one of the dumbest things that's taught. And he was like, think about it. He was like, to think about how unrealistic it would be to walk in the house, hit a switch, and light comes on. When everybody used candles and stuff like that. But to hit a switch and light comes on. To us, that's unrealistic. Mm-hmm. But to thank God to Thomas Edison, he was like, this is what I'm going to do. Or to be realistic and not think that I'm going to be able to bend metal, put an engine and put all this stuff, and fly across water. Yeah. Right? To you, you're like, that. Somebody would be like, that's unrealistic. To bend metal and we gonna fly when we was riding horses and stuff like that. But the Wright brothers didn't think that. And it was like a lot of us be taught to just be realistic. Yeah. And it's just like, no, man, you really put on this earth to make happen.
To be unrealistic.
This is what I want to happen. This is what I want to do and stuff like that. And a lot of us fall victim to it and stuff like that. And then what happens is when you get that energy and you get that mind back, guess what society is telling you? Oh, you too old now. Mm-hmm. Ain't nobody acting at 40. Mm-hmm. Ain't nobody getting discovered at this. Mm-hmm. Ain't nobody doing this at this age and stuff like that. And it's just like, man, just do it. If you believe it, it's going to happen.
Absolutely. You believe it, you can achieve it.
You can achieve it. And you'll lose if you quit.
Yeah. And from a metaphysical standpoint, how it really works is you created in your mind, right? As a man thinketh, right? So it's created here in your mind through the idea, through the motivation, you know. And as soon as you make a decision, that's why making a decision is so important, because once you make a decision, then the universe can support you in that decision. It can send you all of the, what Abraham Hicks calls it, is cooperative component. They'll send you all these people or all of these opportunities or situations, whatever, that puts you in alignment with the thing that you conceived in your mind. And so the thing that's in your mind is unrealistic because it hasn't physically manifested yet, right? But everything manifests spiritually in our minds first. That it's not the other way around. It's not, we think that it's the physical manifestation first. No, what you just gave was the best examples. You know what I'm saying? The Wright brothers had an idea in their mind, right? It was in their mind first until it became a physical manifestation. The light switch and light bulb was in Thomas Edison's mind before it became a physical manifestation. Everything on this earth started in someone's mind first before it became a physical manifestation. And we don't look at it like that because we gotten used to it. You know what I mean? We just used to riding in our cars and opening our houses, you know, up and sitting at tables, you know.
You don't really appreciate like what went into that. You know what I'm saying? Like that started as somebody's thought. Right. Like when I perform, that's all I really think about. When I'm on stage and I'm doing jokes and stuff like that, I think of, and people are like laughing and they're like, "Oh man, you're gonna be famous," or "You funny," and stuff like that. I'm like y'all don't realize, like, I wrote this in my mama's basement. I wrote this was a thought, and I performed it in front of no laughs. So to see y'all appreciate something that just came from my mind, I really appreciate that. You know, and I pray to never lose that feeling or that humbleness of like just remember how you started, man. All you wanted to do was be heard and be seen. And a lot of stuff, we get clouded by the money and the fame, and we lose that appreciation from the people, or, you know what I'm saying, we forget that, like, man, this just started with an idea. And you know what I'm saying? And that's why I always say you appreciate stuff when you lose it, right?
Yeah.
You lose your car, you really appreciate the fact that, like, dang, man, this car was getting me here to here quicker. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know, we got to catch this bus, or, you know, you start thinking back, like, damn, imagine the people that was walking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everywhere they had to go.
Well, one of the things you just said about Rob wanting to do comedy since he was like 15 to 16 years old, right? I don't know if you had watched Dave Chappelle when he was accepting his...
At the school?
At the school.
Yeah, I watched it.
I thought that was so powerful.
That was so dope.
Oh my God, it was so powerful. You know, because he had been performing comedy since he was like that age, you know, and being a 17-year-old kid.
He started like 13, 14.
And like, and to have parents who cultivated that, right?
Exactly. They put him in that type of school.
Yes, absolutely. And so it's like, it's important. Like I saw Jalen, he loves to act. And I mean, so he has been doing that like every summer for Caramoo. And so
he told me that, remember, he asked me to be in a skit like I don't even know if you remember this. You might have been, he asked me to be in a skit some years. He was young though.
Wow.
He was like, I want to be in like, I didn't even know he was doing it. Like, I got chills now that he's doing it. But I remember, like, he
acted do comedy.
I know.
Like, he's so he gonna run home. He just
I know.
He because I told him, I said, well, I was like, well, get with Tidwell. He want me to cash out some money. Now that's what he is.
Yeah, but I remember he asked me some years ago. He might have been like 8 or 10 or something like that. And he was like, Tidwell, you know, you're gonna put me in the skit. And I'm like, let's get it. You know what I'm saying? He like, I'm funny too. And then I remember the last time we was here, you was doing your book, and I had brought the book from you, and he was trying to tell me jokes then. So I'm just like, boy, you still. So, but I could tell that he fascinated. If your life is messed up, don't be bitter towards your child. Like, Brooke want to do this stuff. I try my best to not shoot down her dreams.
Y'all so cute. I commend you too when I see you with her, and of course I've seen you with her since she was born. But it's like I just appreciate you as a human, being there for your daughter and cultivating her and bringing her into this realm with you. That y'all do these skits and stuff together. Like that makes her more like, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? That's how she look at it too, and that's will play a big part into like
why we lose our creativeness as we get older, because a lot of times we don't have examples of it. When I first got my business, I took Brooke and my son up there when he was with me on weekends and stuff like that. Or like if Brooke didn't have school, I'd just come at the office and she see that. Oh, you run this. Yeah. No, they ask your dad, can they get a day off? They ask your dad where they check at. Or, you know what I'm saying? So she see that. And now, just her seeing that, guess what she do? I got my lipstick business. You know, she sell lip gloss. She learned how to, she sell lip gloss. She know how to do hair. She can, like, I'm talking about like legit braid. Like Terrence was paying her to braid his girl's daughter.
Okay.
And she 11. Like braids, stuff like that. Like she did it watching YouTube videos and stuff like that. So, but she see me and they watch you. She see me do the skits to acting. Like she been coming to me film skits since she was 2 and 3, where I didn't have a babysitter. I'm like, oh, I got my daughter with me. Be quiet. And we rolling. But she just seen that. She just seen me perform on stage. So she looking at it like, my dad got a job. He do acting. He do skits on Instagram. He performed at my school. You know what I'm saying? The kids think he famous. So they like, oh, yo, you Brick Dad. So they just like, so she see that and she see that example. So now she has no limit. She like, I want a YouTube page. So when I get to 100,000, she talk like that. She talk big. You know, a lot of times you start putting those restraints on kids and they just be like, you know, I just hope a couple people follow. She like, no, when I get 1 million. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, that's
she had 58. And guess what she got on her little refrigerator? She like 58 subscribers. 61.
Wow.
Like she walking down. So it's just like, and I'm just like, man, if I had that when I was younger, you know, but don't be bitter about it because my time ain't up. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, now I'm going to go for it, but don't do something just because it happened to you. Remember that.
Man, I'm glad you said that too, because I was going to ask you, well then, how do you reconcile with having parents that didn't cultivate your creativity? And I just mean this in a general sense, not like you specifically, because of course I have parents who didn't cultivate our creativity, but I'm not mad at them. I'm not upset with them. You know, I always wanted to sing and dance. My aunt is in the hospital. When I just went up there a few days ago, me and Jalen, she was telling Jalen, she like, man, your mother used to be doing this and singing and dancing and all of that. And so all the way up until I was like 7 years old, the school that I went to, I used to go to Charles Orr. I used to have a music teacher, and the music teacher, he used to like really, like he believed in my talent. So he would always like, he would make me stay after class with him, and he would like have me sing to the piano. He put me in like both shows, Christmas shows, like as the lead singer, everything, and dancer for 2 years in a row. But then I got tapped when I was in the 2nd grade to get tested to go into the Gifted and Talented program. And so when I tested for that, my whole world changed. They took me out of that school. I had to go to O.H. Perry. And everything from that moment was about academics. It was academic focus. So I was doing, you know, Challenge 24, the math, you know, I got like, mental math is like this. I can look at any math problem. I can fucking solve that shit in my head. Like it was so
that's how
systematic, so academically focused that it was like I didn't get any of that time to do any of that singing and dancing stuff ever. Like I never even. So by the time I became like a teenager, I mean I was still like singing to myself and stuff, but like. And my mother knew I really loved to sing, you know what I'm saying? But like, nobody ever put me in vocal lessons. Nobody like ever sent me to dance school. Like, nobody ever did any of those kind of things. And when you were a child, especially when we was growing up, like it wasn't the internet. Like I couldn't find. You know, like
it wasn't a YouTube popping where we all search and stuff. Like you had like stuff that was coming out, but it wasn't a common thing, to be able to just look and see these examples and stuff, man. But yeah, like you said, man, like you gotta like really realize that sometimes you can't teach somebody something that you don't know. And that's why it's so important to get the information and stuff like, because just having the information on something can change the whole trajectory of something. And like my mom could sing, right? She smokes cigarettes now, so she really lost her voice, but she could sing, and she could really sing. Like I remember growing up and hearing her sing when I was like younger, and
And I've heard your mama sing before.
So
she is singing.
So she gonna sing. So she can sing. But my grandmother, you know what I'm saying, she didn't know nothing about putting kids into these things. And guess what happened? It trickled down.
Yeah.
My mama wasn't put into those things. When we got older, we wasn't put into those things. Mm-hmm. Financially, we probably couldn't afford it. Mm-hmm. And we didn't know how to seek the information to get involved in these things. Right. Or my mom was just going based off how she was taught and how she was raised. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until I was in college where I realized I had a talent of being funny. Like meeting you. I wouldn't even say college, but I knew I was funny, but I didn't know, I had no examples of people that was just like, oh, how you get into comedy and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like being around you, and you'd be like, y'all got me Tidwell. This dude be having me crying. You know, we 15. And then I went to college, and then like my buddy Jeff, he was like one of the first people like, bro, you got to do stand up or something. Or you need to act or something. And we brought a camera, but it was like nobody really knew that I was I didn't even think I had a talent.
Right.
And, and I was just like, people be like, how did you think of that? Mm-hmm. And now I know, I'm like, bro, that's a God-given talent. You hear something and you hear it this way, I hear it, and I'm like, damn, this is funny. If I read a word, if I say it this way, it's just like a rapper hears something. Like my boy I did an interview with, he was like when a rapper hear, you could take a word at that time you met that person, and the person you is now, like you say, it just didn't align. It don't align no more, man. Yeah. And sometimes it I almost I don't know. I almost feel like we got this time limit on relationships where it's just like, I want to be married by this age, and it's like you don't even know who the hell you is at that age sometimes. Yeah. You ain't even been through nothing. Yep. I tell one of my employees that, I'm like, you 19, you 20. Yeah. You fall in love with a man that's 20. He don't even know what he want to eat tomorrow. That man, he ain't experienced nothing. Right. And especially with social media too, we really feel like we got options and stuff like that. Like we gotta go through stuff. You gotta break up. You gotta learn how to love somebody. You gotta learn how to, do the things, and that's why sometimes when you be in your most challenging relationship and you break up, people get married right after that. Yeah. And they be like, this motherfucker get married. Like, no, he finally or she know exactly what she want and how to be loved. Yeah. And she's seen it and got all that. And you're like, dang, you got married quick. Yeah. It's like, because I understand now. Before, I was just like, this nigga like me. Right. You know what I'm saying? And we in a relationship. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you got to go through these relationships. And a lot of women, too, y'all so scared of wasting time, but that's the main thing that you got to put in.
Yeah, and I think for women, because there is a biological time clock on having children. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I think that for women, it is that's why women feel so much pressure to find a mate, because then you like, oh shit, I still want to have more kids. And so when I think about that, technically I'm 37, you know what I'm saying, years old, but for me, that doesn't deter me. You know what I mean? My grandmother, she had a child when she was 15, and she didn't have her next child until he was 17. Right. My father and her oldest child is 17 years apart. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And then him and my aunt, they 22 years apart. He was 22, I think for women, that's kind of where we at. I feel like even for myself, where I think I was 33 or 34 when I got married. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, because I can go ahead and just have a couple more babies, and I kind of just get that out the way. But now I'm like, if it happens, it happens. Yeah. If it doesn't happen, I'm okay with that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm just grateful and very, very appreciative that I already have a child. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? A beautiful, beautiful child. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that I'm grateful for. I'm not missing out on anything, you know what I mean, by that. Not would I like to share in that with someone? Yeah, I would. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it won't rock my world. Right. It didn't happen or whatever, because again, it's about appreciating what you already have. And I so appreciate my son. You know what I'm saying? And he'll go on and give me some grandbabies. You know what I'm saying? At some point in time. So I think about that.
And it's going to happen how it's supposed to happen. Right. And stuff. Sometimes you got to realize a lot of stuff you're just not in control of. And you got to be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? So, But yeah, it's important to do what make you happy and get around the people and get the people in your life that make you happy. And like we was talking earlier about, like, you been around people that don't motivate you, don't make you happy, or telling you no, or telling you shouldn't do this stuff, or been in relationships and you argue all the time and you thinking that's normal and stuff like that. Like, no, you could really be around people that don't think the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all really don't. You know what I'm saying? You can disagree, but it's not really like a big deal.
Right.
Like, that come from a place, like arguing and really yelling at somebody, it come from something that you need to discuss or issue. Like, that's not a normal thing. Like, I grew up in a household where they argued. My family argued and fought and every day. Many times you've been over there. My mama was fighting, beat my uncle up. My uncle fight my mama, and we grew up. And you think that's normal. Yes. And we get on stage and joke like, my family crazy too. And then you go see somebody else and you think they weird. Like, hold up, y'all eat at this table together?
Yeah, that happened to me when you remember my friend Precious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I used to be at their house all the time, like when I was a teenager. And they was like a family that always told each other that they loved each other. Like, right after they got off the phone with each other, right when they see each other, they would embrace each other. And so they kind of like adopted me into that culture. And I thought initially, like, it was so weird. I'm like, why these people always fucking telling each other that they love each other? You know what I mean? It was just completely just like
different from what you used to.
Different from what I was used to. And the same thing that you just described, because I swear I just said that in a conversation I was having last week. I was like, in my upbringing, everything was a fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't this like, oh, well, let's just communicate about it. Let's just talk about it. It was just always a fight. I could remember the same thing. You know what I mean? And to think, like, we were really key. And as you know, like, I don't have a relationship with basically all of my family.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, I tell you earlier, Krista is gonna leave. That's not accepting nobody. She gonna leave.
Nobody is off limits.
Nobody's
off limits. You know,
cut you the hell up out of here.
For real, because once I really realized, like, and I've been trying to refrain from saying the word toxic. I've been saying, like, unbecoming, because I think that there are just certain traits and qualities and things that we've gotten used to that's just very unbecoming of us, right? And so, but once I kind of really realized that, that my family kind of had this very unbecoming behavior about themselves, that I, of course, had adopted that. But at the same time, I thought something was odd about it. Yeah. But then you just thought, like, well, it's your family. So you just got to deal with it. But I was like, well, what if it doesn't make me feel good? You know what I'm saying? What if I have a mother who is, calling me bitches and hoes and telling me she gonna beat my ass and fuck me up and all this other shit? Like, I came to a place like, that's not normal. I don't talk to my child like that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, why do I have to accept that? Because
we look at somebody else and judge it. You see somebody else doing it, like, why are you talking to them kids like that?
It was just so, it was so much, that I was like, I got to a place and I was like, no, I actually love myself more than to allow anybody to treat me in these sort of ways. And it doesn't matter who you are, because those are just titles. Yeah. Those titles that I told you about, I'm a spiritual being first. Then I'm a human, then I'm a female, then I'm black, then I'm a daughter, then I'm a mother, then I'm all of these things. And so you don't get to treat this spiritual creative genius like this.
And it's just, it's really breaking away from your upbringings and stuff like that. Like speaking on, like, the love you stuff, like, I think the first time I said I love you to a person, I was 18. You know what I'm saying? And then that affected how I showed love, because my mom showed love with action. Like, I knew my mom loved me because my mama got up every day to go to work at 5 a.m. and work 2 jobs, and she struggled, and she, she cried when stuff happened. So I knew she loved me based off her actions. And when I got older, that's how I showed love in relationships. And not realizing, and you get combative when a person tells you, like, you don't act like you love me. You're like, what you mean? I'll do this, I'll pay for this and stuff. And you're not realizing, like, they might need to hear it. Some people need to hear, hey, you look good today. You know what I'm saying? Or I love you. And I had to come to that realization, like, I'm like, damn, bro, I really
was uncomfortable with saying I love you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would tell somebody I love you, jump out the car. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if people don't understand it, they just like, well, that's weird. And I was like, bro, it's not something that I was accustomed to. So it's like, it's a feeling that I got that made me feel weird just saying it, like, oh, I love you. Mm-hmm. And now you could just tell, like, I'm a little bit more, like, better with that, like, just coming to that understanding and where it came from. And then just knowing, like, bro, you gotta say it. Like, still to this day, I still kind of struggle with a daughter. Be like, oh, I love you, Dad. Like, I love you. Like, I love you too. Like, you whisper it, but it's just like, or you get like, girl, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, dang, man, I really have to come to terms with that. And people don't understand, man. They be your upbringing, to be what you see, and you think it's like you go to another family house and you see them. I'm like, y'all eat every Sunday together. Mm-hmm. And then y'all just go home and y'all see each other again next Sunday? Right. They're like, yeah. And y'all don't argue and y'all don't fight? Right. Nah. Right. Why not? You know what I'm saying? You like flabbergasted. You like, yeah. So y'all do this every Sunday? Yeah. And your mama like her brother? Right. Hold on. Give me some paper. So your mama and her sister get along. And they call each other.
Man, that's
Kristen,
so
you ain't gonna believe this shit. They eating dinner together.
Man, it's
and
so
we start
real.
making fun of it because we want that. We like, man, y'all Jake, y'all family Jake. Our family be lit. We be fighting.
That's what we. Oh my god.
We try to make it sound cool.
And the cycle is just like so. It's so vicious, right? Because then the only person I tell people that I love them, like my friends, I tell my friends that I love them, like. The only person that I found it the most difficult to say I love you to is my sister. Mm. And really only being because we grew up in the same household. So I also know that makes her uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? And so I have been making it a point that when I get off the phone with her that I say I love you. I try to remember to say that all the time because I want to take the weirdness out of it. You know what I'm saying? And
like you and you know, Jenny just got off the phone. You like, I love you. Yeah. I love you. You know what I'm saying? Like I hear Brooke, she off the phone. I love you. Her grandma, like so that's instilled in her, and I'm watching her with like her mom and her grandma, and I'm just remembering my childhood. Like that wasn't us. Yeah. Like we didn't, and you know, probably come from my grandmother. Like you know what I'm saying? Like my grandmother wasn't raised by, and sometimes you got to look back and stuff like that, and that helps you forgive like your parents and stuff. Like I know why my mom was how she was, and I know why my grandmother, like a lot of people like was like your grandma played favoritism with you, and your grandmother is mean to the other grandkids and stuff like that. I'm like, but y'all gotta look back. Mm-hmm. Her dad was murdered. Her mother was killed. Her mother died when she was 6. She was raised by her great grandmother. Mm-hmm. So you know how we like slave ties and stuff like that, and her getting whooped by her grandparent, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think I've ever, like, hit my kids. I'm like, they just know I ain't playing with them. Right. You know what I'm saying? But growing up, I thought that was how you disciplined a child. Absolutely. You whoop them, do what I said, you yell at them. Yeah. Like, Brooke, no, like, sometimes you just, like, man, sit your ass, you know what I'm saying? But, like, physically put my hands on, I'm like, why am I putting my, like, I'll be pissed if somebody else put their hands on my daughter. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So why should she look at me and be like, my daddy whoop my, like, I'm not putting my hands on her. That's gonna be common. She gonna think that's a man putting his hand. My daddy did it. Yeah, that's so. You get what I'm saying? Like, no, that is so powerful. My daddy did it. Yeah. Now I will say that in my earlier years of parenting, I did whoop Jalen. Not often. I think I did whoop him like 2 or 3 times. But what I'm saying is like. I evolved from that. I can count on one hand the number of times I may have whooped him. Maybe once or twice. I think I ever whooped, but I think the most I ever did was I was like, sit down.
You popped her. Yeah, and then, but I also naturally got to a place, even after them few times, the few times that I did with him, I did not feel good.
You didn't feel you
I
feel
did
horrible.
not feel good doing that, and so I mean, I just stopped. I just didn't. I just never did it again.
You're like, I just caused harm to my child.
Yeah, I know, and it's like it's just these generational cycles that we just grown accustomed to, and we normalize it, and I mean, and who's to tell us different, right? Yeah. You know, and we don't, And that's why experience is so important, because if I didn't experience being at Precious House all the time, you know what I mean? I would have never probably grown accustomed to the I love yous, you know, but like it wasn't until...
I remember one time I kicked it with you and Precious and her family. I'm like, good time, man. They kicking it.
Right.
Playing games.
And you know what? And they wasn't drinkers.
Nope.
They didn't drink. You know what I'm saying? They was just like good old fun. You know, my upbringing was a lot of drinking all the time. You know what I'm saying? And that was how you had a party.
Like this. Tidwell, I'm outside. All right, come. I can't hear you.
Right. And that was what a party mix it was. You know what I mean? And so it was normalized, you know. And even for me, like, you know, I definitely, I don't drink as much as I used to drink, you know. And then, like, it just, for me, and right now I'm on, like, this 8-week challenge. Like, I've been working out, like, 3 or 4 times a week. And I'm just like, no, I care about my body. I love my body. Now, I do like to drink. Like, don't get me wrong. I do like to go and have a drink. You know what I'm saying? But it's not a priority for me. It's not a thing for me. You know what I'm saying? Where I felt like I needed to have like a glass of wine every day or something like that. Like, I don't feel that way anymore. And it's taken me a lot of healing and just evolution, you know what I'm saying? And then shit, my son 15 now, you know what I'm saying? Shit, he saw me drinking this, you know what I'm saying, this whole time. I don't want that to be his life and what's normal for him, you know what I'm saying, where he feel like he got to do this, you
That's
know?
a fact, because a lot of your kids they emulate what they see. They date what they was around, you know. They date a woman like you, they date a man like you know what I'm saying? So they emulate, they see those things and stuff like that. Like I never drank before. I never smoked. My daughter, she know, like, my dad don't drink. Right. She ain't never seen me drink. She ain't never seen me smoke and stuff like that. But, like, you know, my brothers, my sisters, they drink, they smoke. You know what I'm saying? Because they see my mom do it. You know, and you know, my mom drink, my family, they drinkers and stuff like that, you know, but it was normal to us. Like, this is how a kicking should be and stuff like that. You just don't really realize, like, how much stuff rub off on you and stuff like that. Like, and like I just, sometimes I'll be looking at Brick, I'm like, she don't even know she doing the stuff that or how I used to act when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? It's just in her.
Or just how different her life is compared to yours.
To my life.
Like,
I look at that
you know,
sometimes.
at her age, you know, and you think about your age and what was normal for you and your environment in that age, it's like a totally different thing.
Totally different
Same thing with my son. I'm like, it's so funny because, like, so I moved 17 times before I was 17 years old. 17 times before I was 17 years old. So this really is the only house he's known. So we've been in this house for almost 10 years.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, we lived in Kent. He was like 4 when we moved from there. We temporarily stayed in a house in East Cleveland, but that's only because my townhouse was getting ready. So we only stayed there for like 3 months. And then I moved to Huff, and we lived in that house for 1 year. And then we moved here. I had a motivating factor. Like, Jalen's been such a motivating factor for me because I wanted to have a stable home for him. That was like such a priority for me. And when I moved back here, I was like, no, I gotta buy a house because I want to make sure that this is a house that he always is able to come home to. This is the house he knows. This is his home. His life is just completely different from my life when I was 15 years old. Like, completely different. You know, the fact like I said, he asked me for $20 for Cash App so he can go buy him something to eat before he get home. You know what I'm saying? Like, he knows that this is his home. This house is gonna be here when he get here. And it's just a totally different vibe. He got his own room. He got his own space. He has his own bathroom. You know what I'm saying?
That's how Brooke is. Brooke got her own room, her own bathroom. And I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? It's quiet. And I'm like you wouldn't believe. Like, people see me now, like, you know what I'm saying? And this ain't like, you know, me and my mama like this. So, but like, we grew up. And my mama was young. My mama was 20 when she had me. You get what I'm saying? So me and my mama was like this. So I watched my mother be a young woman because I'm looking at myself now. Like, I'm 36 now, and I still had those, like, I want to be outside. I want to, you know, date. I want to, you know what I'm saying? See, so you got to think, when my mom was 36,
I was 16.
Right.
So
yeah,
my mother was still in that phase where she wanted to kick it.
Yeah.
She wanted to, even before, Brick was aware of stuff at 7 and 8 and stuff. So think about when I was 7 and 8. My mom was 27.
Right.
So my mom was kicking it. And I was seeing these things and parties and fights and, like I remember these tragedies, like seeing my mama fight, seeing my uncle, being with my mama, like my mama was like wanted to kick it. She was 27.
Yeah.
Like imagine you at 27 with a kid.
Yeah.
And my mama like, I ain't got no babysitter. You coming with me to the party. And I remember being at a party and the dude pulled the pistol out. And my mama in the closet, I remember this vividly. My mama in the closet like, my son in here. Wait, my 2 kids are here. Got the pistol, looking for my uncle, chased my uncle around the corner, hit him in the head. My mama out there trying, like I remember these things. And I'm like, bruh, like I went through this, being homeless with my mama. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and that was normal. It was just like, damn, man, that was just normal.
Yeah.
Going home, they arguing, they fighting. And I look at Brooke, I'm like, Brooke, you ain't even.
You don't know nothing
You
about
don't know
that.
nothing about that.
Yeah.
You come home and you just like, Dad, I want to make a TikTok video
Right.
and stuff like that. And you know what I'm saying? And it's quiet, it's peaceful,
Yeah.
and you can chill and you can do whatever. And I'm just like, bro, like I didn't, like just thinking about that stuff now, I'm like, damn, I just suppressed all those memories. Because that's the first time I thought about something like that in like years. But I'm like, dang, man, like niggas really done had it hard, like growing up. And this, our kids are so different and they don't know how fortunate they are to be like, because a lot of people don't make it out those situations. A lot of people, they take on that and, because it happened to them, they do it to their kids and stuff like that. It's a resentment thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like my mama kicked it with my mama, you coming to me to this thing, to this party, to this, and you gonna watch me get argue or watch this man put his hand, you know what I'm saying? And they kids are saying the same, and then the cycle just continues. So it's crazy, man. But
you live to tell the story, right?
Live to tell the story, man. But the door was outside. But my mom was 20.
Well, and I always say, I feel like as of lately, I've been saying, like, if you can, wait until you in your 30s to have children, because I had Jalen when I was 22, and I was never a big going out type of person, but there are so many other things that my son has had to watch me grow through. You know what I mean? And so, like relationships, it wasn't just you're not just in a relationship. It's not just you and this man or you and this woman as a relationship. Your children are also involved
in that relationship too. They meet that person, they see that person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's
they
just like
experience that person. They're experiencing that all along with you.
Yeah. And that person leave and they watching you sad for a couple of days and they experiencing that and you know what I'm saying?
So your kids is like, that's why I'm like, man, Jalen he really resilient. Like he like a trooper. You know what I'm saying? He like, well, shit, I'm just down. Whatever you want, I want. You don't want the nigga no more. Cool, we ain't got it. You gotta go.
and that's what really hurt too, man. Because it just be like a lot of people think about that, and like all these factors play into a part where it make you stay in situations that you shouldn't stay in. You know what I'm saying? Like we got I read something that says like the power of your mind, like being happy and stuff like that. Like your mind, the way you feel, your mind controls how you feel. Your feelings control your actions. Your actions controls you know what I'm saying, your results. You know what I'm saying? So you bring your kids, so sometimes you be thinking about these things and you just like talking yourself out of stuff like, dang man, this is not about to work out. You've been around this person for 2 years, 3 years. Now I'm probably have to be rebuilt with somebody else and watch them do that, and then they gotta have a relationship with my kid. And we be so afraid of doing the work again, like you know what I'm saying? So you got someone like, I ain't even dating no more. You know what I'm saying? Or they just shut off a part of their life, and it's just like dang, just because you afraid of redoing that work again, like bringing this person around your kid, and it's like, man, you just gotta go. Just do it. Like I told you earlier, just do it, man. Do what make you happy. That's all I'm about, man. Whatever make you happy, do what make you happy. And you got to, whether it's create, and like I love to create. I love the feeling of making something, putting it out to the world, and showing people
and seeing people appreciate that.
Yeah.
Right. And I had to be real with myself. Like, B, you love that. You love that. You love seeing people appreciate your stuff.
Yeah. The group, Soul Focus Group, the group that I work with, the CEO, his name is Mahdi, and he had did this YouTube. It was real short, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. I had to send it to you. But he talked about how the name of the game is fame. You know what I'm saying? And like your soul wants to be seen. Like your soul is just using your body as a vehicle for it to express itself. You know, and so all of our souls want to be seen and appreciated for the talent and the gifts that it possesses. Yeah. And so it took me a long time too to say to myself, like, I'm an artist, you know, for one, I'm a creator.
Exactly.
For 2, for 3, yes, I do want to be famous because my why is I want to help people live a happy, fulfilling, joyful, peaceful life. That's why I talk about these things. That's what lights me up. You know, people like inbox me and they be like, Kristen, well, how do you do this and how do you do that? I was like, lately I was just thinking, collaborating with Maya and just saying like, well, maybe I need to put together like some sort of Q&A thing. You know what I mean? Like a part of it is having these type of conversations, but the other part is like, let me allow people to ask me questions because my human design is such that I'm made to respond to things and to people. So you're
a natural teacher, man. Like that's something that you've always been since I've known you. And sometimes we don't know this stuff about ourselves, but somebody on the outside can just see it. I'm like when I was growing up and when me and you were like talking like every day, Kristen be the person. I'm like, hey Kristen, how you do this? Or what's this? Or what this mean? Or how you do that? Or stuff like that. And you just like, oh, let me break it down. And I still do it to this day. And my boy trying to get a nonprofit. Oh, you gotta call Kristen. I just sent so many people her way. She probably like, nigga, quit sending these niggas. God damn, I don't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like,
but
that's just
still, I don't mind helping.
You don't mind helping. I just like, that's just the relationship. And that's just something that I know. I can see when you passionate, when you breaking something down and you like, yeah, this is this. And this is what this means. And this is that. And it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, once you learn what fulfills you, like, you're going to be happy, man. Like, I know what fulfills me. I know what makes me happy now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know it. I know
and
it.
What is it? It's comedy?
Comedy fulfills me, but creating.
Yeah.
I love to create.
Okay.
I love to make money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you get told to shy away. Like, life ain't about money. Like, yeah, I get it. Like, I don't care about money.
Right.
But I like the feeling of not worrying about stuff.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna send you this podcast. Are you familiar with Lewis Howell?
No.
Oh, okay. So he got this podcast on YouTube, and he always brings on these people, like all kind of gurus from all over. But the latest one that I was listening to was about money. Everything that you was just saying about money and like how do we appreciate money, understanding that money is really, it's just energy and it's currency, and so it really starts here spiritually and how you feel about money really it will physically manifest. So if you don't like money, you hate it and all that, it ain't gonna manifest.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? So it's like all of these different things, and it's been so informative, and I'm not even finished listening to it yet. Yeah. But our attitude and our relationship with money, but also, how we're taught about money from a young age. So
I just watched a TikTok video on that. Rob had sent it to me, and there was a dude saying, like, people be like, man, if I had $100 million, I would do this. And this was like, no, you wouldn't. You live in paycheck to paycheck right now.
Right.
You don't even know what to do with money. So if you got $100 million right now, he said it wouldn't even last you 2 generations.
Yeah.
Because you're uneducated on what to do to do with the money and stuff like that. And it was just like, you gotta educate yourself with it and learn how to save and you know what I'm saying. And like some people just all about money and they're happy that and what I just said like I like the feeling of being not worrying.
Yeah.
And I know money, like a bill is something you can worry about. Yeah. Where we gonna live is something you can worry about, right? So, but you also have to realize that money can't fulfill you.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, like what J. Cole said, it's always gonna be somebody with more money. It's always gonna be somebody with a better car. It's always gonna be somebody with a bigger house.
Right.
So when he said love yours, right? Love your situation, because when you put
happy, when you put your happiness in material things, you're never satisfied.
Yeah.
Like I remember one time I was in a relationship and I was depressed and I was just like, man, I ain't making the videos. I'm like, man, if I get this new iPhone, it's gonna make me happy because it's gonna have a camera and I can do the videos with the thing. And I got that new iPhone and I was happy for like 3 days. And then after 3 days, guess what it was? It was just another phone.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, if I get this car, man, that I want, that new charger, and I got that charger. And I was happy for 2 weeks when I had it. But after 2 weeks, guess what it became? It was just another car. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, you got to put your energy in relationships. Like this conversation, like this is fulfilling. Like I'm gonna think about this. Like, damn, Chris, remember we kicked in the kitchen, or you know what I'm saying, or like the energy we have whenever, like me and you can stop talking. Me and you cannot talk for 8 months and pick right back up because we come back in and the energy's there. Remember when we did this, Tidwell? Remember this? You know what I'm saying? And that's the stuff that fulfill you, like the relationships you have with people, being able to look at a picture and a throwback. You like, dang, man, the feeling you have, music, you know what I'm saying, networking. That's the stuff that fulfill you, and that's what people got to like really like go after. Like, oh man, damn, you like my joke? Like, I don't care that. Like the last show we just did, right? We made a lot of money for this college show we did. We did University of Tennessee, right? The money was great, but you know what's even better? The kids came up to me. I'm thinking about getting a comedy, man. You funny? Can I follow you? Can I get a picture with you? Right. I told Rob, I said, damn, I'm getting old. Young dude said, young little 8-year-old kid said, damn boy, you got that shit on. I said, I got it on. You like how I'm dressed? I said, damn, I'm old. I'm happy this little nigga talk about it. But I'm just like, that's the stuff that I'm gonna remember. Like the kids that came up to me and stuff like that. So it's just like, you know what I'm saying?
Man, that's dope.
I'm about to, you know.
So let's give the people one little tidbit from Tidwell on what is your number one advice for people wanting to start that journey back to 98%?
I said it earlier, man. Just do it. You know what I'm saying? Just do it. There's no such thing as a stupid question. There's no such thing as a bad idea. Just do it, man. And me getting to that 98%, it really happened where it was at a point where I felt like I should be further than I was in comedy and stuff like that. And I started looking at people that I felt like didn't have as much talent as me, wasn't better than me, but they was outworking me. And I was making all these excuses like, I got kids, I can't do this, I'd be tired. And I was just like, do it, man. Like, this person is filming from his phone, not even editing it, just 3 million views. And here I am overcomplicating it. So it's just do it. And then one of the quotes I got in my office and I look at it every day. And I think I invented it. I was like, what'd I say? Don't get mad at where you're at versus where you want to be. Appreciate where you're at versus where you used to be.
Oh, okay. Say that again.
Don't get mad at where you're at versus where you want to be. Appreciate where you're at versus where you used to be.